What's up, guys? Today we're going to go over how to make an Enderman XP farm. So the farm is specifically designed to spawn Enderman, but not kill them automatically, so it lets you kill them yourself to get the XP from it. It really just consists of a few spawning platforms, and it just has an area where you can go and kill them safely without getting hurt by them. So I believe if I go into survival, we can even walk all the way up here and hit them, and we still won't take damage. I would recommend against doing that just in case. But ultimately, we can hit them and get all of the XP and the Ender Pearls out of it. So with that, let's jump right in. So what you'll need, the first thing you'll need is a name tag that is named using an anvil. This is one of the most important things because you don't want your Endermite, which you're going to have to spawn in, to despawn. You're also going to need a bucket of water in order to push the Endermite around. You're going to need some rails. I recommend bringing a decent amount of power rails. You don't need that many. And some normal rails to round turns. And a minecart. And this is so that the Endermite can sit in the minecart, but we need the rails to be able to push them around. Also a redstone torch to power the power rails. The rails are temporary. We just need the minecart at the very end. You're also going to need some sort of opaque block. You can also use glass or some other block if you would like for the more aesthetic things. You're going to need some amount of slabs, not that many. I didn't actually bother counting them, but like 8 and then 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 slabs. I don't know why I didn't count it. You need 20 slabs. You're going to need some torches, and this is just so that you can kind of get the Enderman not to spawn in places where they shouldn't. And you're going to need 30 trapdoors. You're also going to need a sword. This is just at the very end. Like, you need to be able to kill them in order to get your XP and stuff. I recommend a sword with enchantments. And then probably the most tedious part is getting the Endermite to spawn. This consists of throwing Ender Pearls, and there's a chance that an Endermite might spawn. So what this means is that we need a bunch of Ender Pearls, and you need steak. If you need to farm Ender Pearls, what you can do is put just a little platform with a too high ceiling and just look Enderman in the eye and then kill them that way. So you don't need to have the farm or anything for that. And that can get you a good amount of Ender Pearls doing that. The steak is so that you don't end up dying by using so many Ender Pearls. And I'll show you in the video how that'll look later. So when you're in the end, what we're going to want to do is build off of the main island out into the void, some amount of blocks. I would say do about 150 blocks or so. 128 is the bare minimum, but I usually give it like a good buffer on either end of the 128 block limit, just so that it'll start working faster and there's no like other weird things that can occur if I'm not standing in the perfect spot. So I would recommend building off of it by about 150 blocks. It doesn't matter what direction you go in. Really what we're doing is making it so that we are in the void. So the only place for the Enderman to spawn is the farm. I'd also recommend getting rid of the dragon before you do this, because building the land bridge while a dragon's shooting at you would be pretty dicey, I think. So I'm going to go about 150 to like 180 blocks out. So I should be at a X level of like 300 or so. I'm going to double check to make sure that I'm about 150 blocks away. So 300 should turn into like 150 or so. And it looks like we're a good amount away. Cool. I would also recommend, if you're not doing this already, putting like torches on here, just so that the Endermen don't spawn on your land bridge, because that will just serve the same purpose as the reason why we're going into the void. If they spawn on the land bridge, they might just be clogging up the mob cap, rather than where we want them to spawn, which is our farm. So I'm gonna add torches here. It also is just nice to not have to deal with Endermen like pushing you off of your bridge, because that would be kind of bad. Okay, so now that I'm down here, I'm just going to make a small platform for me to be able to do the stuff that I need to do. It doesn't have to be particularly big, and we're probably going to get rid of it, or maybe not later. It'll probably have to be modified at some point later. Okay. And this is just so that we can spawn the Endermite and do all of that stuff in order to get the farm started. So I'm going to give a little bit more space. And I'm going to, again, put torches here just in case I go somewhere else and Endermen spawn here. And I'm actually on peaceful. I'll put it on hard just so I can deal with the Endermen. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is, I think really just the easiest thing to do now at this stage is to spawn the Endermite. The Endermites spawn when you use Ender Pearls. I think it's a 5% chance to spawn after using an Ender Pearl. So what I do is I get into survival mode real fast. I'm not gonna do it yet because we need to have the infrastructure to catch it. But what I do is I just send the Ender Pearls, and then I have a bunch of food, and I just sit there and eat food, and I send Ender Pearls back and forth in order to not die from it. But before you do that, we need to set up the stuff to be able to catch the Endermite. So the first requirement is that we need a name tag. So what you need to do is find a name tag somewhere, and then you need to name it in the anvil. I've already named mine Test, but you just name it something else. And then you grab it from the anvil. Make sure it's named. It's not going to work if it's not named. And then the next thing that we need to do is make a way to catch it in kind of a hole so that we can get it into a minecart. So the way I usually do this is I'm going to add a little bit more space real fast. This is, of course, much easier and less dicey to do if you are flying. I get that if you're in survival, you're going to be like holding shift, and that is super terrifying to do. Okay, so what I do is I make a little room, and I usually make it 2 blocks wide. And then this is just for a staircase. So we have a room that is about 2 blocks wide and 2 blocks on the other end. I don't ever know what it's called. Long, I guess. So this is where we're going to catch the Endermite in. We need to put trap doors on either end so that it will pass through this and fall into the hole. We also want to have a bucket of water, but we don't need that yet. And actually, it might be better to not put the bucket of water to make sure that you can get the name tag on it, because sometimes it's like under the water and it's hard to get the name tag on it. We don't need to do this yet, but we can set up the thing to get it into the minecart, and that's basically just another little box that's right next to it. And we make a little staircase for a minecart. I guess you don't need to do it here. You could probably just do it like this. Okay. And then we can put a minecart. I use power rails, and then we can kind of just like catch it. So what I'm going to do is just kind of have it go off into a little cubby here, right? So that we don't send it off into the void. Okay. So with this, we should be able to spawn the Endermite. It usually takes a while, so I'm not going to make you watch me do this. But essentially all you do is you just send the End Pearl, and you just go back and forth, and then make sure you don't, die from doing this. So before you die, just kind of wait, and then you can eat food of some sort to heal back up. And then you keep going. When the Endermite spawns, we're going to capture it in here, and you want to immediately name it with your name tag, because the Endermite will despawn after about 2 minutes, I think. But if you name it, it's not going to despawn, and then you're going to have it forever. And then we can do what we need to do after that. Finally. All right. Come on. Okay. Yeah, that always takes longer than I think it should take. Okay, so now that we have him in there, I'm going to use the name tag so that we can name him. You should be able to see when he hops the name they put on him. Okay, so next order of business, I'm going to go back to creative just so I can do it easily. We can put the water in this corner so that they get pushed into the corner with the minecart. And then we're going to use the minecart, and we're just going to capture them and put them in a safe little box here. Sometimes the minecart gets stuck in the corner for some reason. I don't know why. If this happens, you can go back one so that it's not on the incline with when it goes into the corner. I actually don't know. I've gotten it to work with the incline, but maybe it doesn't actually do that all the time. And then we're going to bring this back just so that we can kind of have them somewhere safe, and then we can put a box around them or something. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to put a box around them because we don't want to despawn him or anything, or have like a rogue Enderman come up and kill him. At this point, whatever you do not change your difficulty. If you're in hardcore, then you're fine. But if you change your difficulty in range of him, he's going to despawn. You're going to have to do that again. I believe you can do it if you're like off in the distance, but you don't want to be anywhere close to him. Maybe not within like the simulation distance or something. Because he will despawn if you go to peaceful. And that's annoying. Okay. So now we can get rid of this stuff. For now, we don't really, like, we're gonna have to move them again, and that's gonna be annoying, but we don't actually have to do the water thing anymore. Okay, whoops. So at this point, we need to figure out how we want to build the farm. So given that in the end, building down is a challenge, we're going to use this as the like platform for where we're going to stand when we stand in the killing chamber. And then we're going to build upwards from here. If you're like super hardcore, you can, whoops, like pour water down the side, and then you can kind of like fall down and build downwards this way. This is a way to build down. It just is in case you want to do that. I'm going to build up just because it's a much safer to do that. Okay. So we're going to pick a middle block, and actually we might as well just pick the middle block as the block that we have the guy in. I take it back. We're going to have to move him up anyways, so I'm going to get him out of the way. Okay. Let's say this is our middle block here. What we're going to do is build a little platform. It doesn't really matter how long, but it's going to be 3 blocks wide. I think it has to be at least 5 blocks long like this. I might as well just attach it to this platform and go all the way down. It doesn't really matter. This is just somewhere for us to stand, and we'll fix it up a little bit later. Okay, so this is where we're going to stand. We're going to build a ceiling that is 2 blocks above it. That is also 3 blocks wide. And this is just so that we are safe away from the Endermen. If the Endermen are down, the Endermen are going to be down here, and we don't want them to get in by teleporting or whatever. And we also don't want to like anger them and have them run in or something like that. Okay. So next we're going to do a ring around this one on the bottom. So it'll be a ring. So it'll be on this edge, so like on the far edge. It'll just be all the way around. So it'll end up as 5 blocks. And then I think we want another 5 blocks on the sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. This can probably be longer, but there's no reason to do that. And then we're going to build 1 block up from this. And just to make sure you have the dimensions right, it should be like on the inside, 4 blocks on the sides. So 4 blocks and then 3 blocks here. It's not super strict on how you do it. Really all we're doing is getting the Enderman to stand here so that we can hit him with a sword. That's really all we're doing. And then if you want to go on the outside, we can block this and just kind of, or rather, I can use like a different block to show which ones are temporary. So like if you're in survival, you're going to be like building like this. I'm in creative, so I'm just going to fly around. So we need to build a little like wall around this because this is where the Endermen are going to be spawning. So I'm just going to build a wall around it. It's going to be 2 blocks high at first. So I'm just going to do that all the way around. And it's not particularly important what you use here. There's no like redstone functionality that we're going to need. It's really just so that the Endermen don't fall off the edge of the map. So really I just have a wall. The Enderman can spawn or can stand in here and it's 2 blocks high. And then they can't get into this little area that we're going to be standing in. Those are really the only requirements. Otherwise, you can make it bigger or smaller or whatever you want to do. I would recommend against making it wider. It'll just make it less efficient. There's nothing wrong with that, but it'll be less efficient. So I'd recommend sticking with like the 3 block wide thing on this side. Okay, so now with this one, we're going to take trap doors and build it all around the sides here. And this is just so that the Enderman feel safe going into this area rather than like trying to hang on the side of the wall or something. And then we're going to go around this edge again. And we're going to, so like if you see that this is where they're standing now, or say that this is where they're standing now, I mean, we're going to build another wall. We don't want to build the wall on this side, but I'm going to build the wall on this side just so that they don't run across the ceiling or something like that. And then we're going to go out one more time. We're going to go up. And just build it all the way around again. Okay. So what this should give us is a 3 block wide area on the outer edge around the like middle block here. this one's 2 blocks. This side is special, but it should be 3 blocks on this side, and on this side, which appears that that is the case. So what we're going to need to do now is build up this ceiling all the way up. And this is mainly so that Endermen don't run across it and don't spawn on top of it. This is where we're going to get our Endermite too. And that is important. And we don't want the Enderman to like do anything crazy. I believe what we want to do is go up 2 blocks above this like edge that we made here. So we go up by 2 blocks. Whoops. I'm going to do it on this far wall here. So the wall that is coming, the wall that's on the side where you walk into the chamber. I'm going to go up there. And then I'm going to put slabs on top of it. Maybe not yet. I'll do it on this wall, but I'll put slabs across all of these except for this block, which we're going to put the Endermite. Okay, so we're going to get the Endermite in here right now. So I'm just going to put some power rails, and we're just going to go over here, and we're just going to power rail them over. It's going to be kind of annoying to do, but it is necessary. Let's see. So I'll go down here, I think. And then we'll turn. Where is he? He's right there. Maybe go down a couple more times. Rails not being able to, the power rails not being able to turn, or rails in general not being able to turn when they're on an incline, gets me a lot. Because I always have to rebuild what I did. Okay. All right. So we have that. I'm going to put the redstone torches next to the power rails so that we can get them up there. And then I guess you just kind of go over here and push them in. It might be kind of annoying to do that. I'll do it in survival to make sure that it's not like weird. We maybe want to make this power rails just so that we don't have to push them very far, because that'd be really annoying. So I'll go to survival. You should be able to do this safely. It might damage you a little bit, but it should be okay. Wowza. All right. Maybe you try to get a rail under him. If you can get the block, you can put a rail under it like that. And then you can just run at him and push it in. Okay. So now it should be over here. He actually didn't make it. Oh, yeah, because I didn't power the things properly. Back to survival. We want him in the middle block here. So let's get him in the middle there. All right. So now that we have that, we can get rid of all of this crap because we don't need it. And now he's in the middle, and the Enderman will basically get aggroed to the Endermite in the middle there. We can get rid of the rails. We can get rid of these blocks. Now, I'm going to place slabs on this section as well, but I'm not going to put them on this block. I'm going to get rid of the blocks around the guy, the Endermite, and I'm going to place them there. And this is just so that I don't run into an issue where potentially, like, if the slabs are here, I'm worried that the Endermen aren't going to be able to see the Endermite from far away, and then they're not going to get aggroed. So I want to avoid any issues, so to make sure that, you know, the slabs are out of the way. So we should be able to do that. You could probably get away with torches too. I just don't want to mess with like the spawning on this platform. And then the slabs, of course, so that the Endermen don't spawn on here and like kill our Endermite or something. I don't believe the Enderman will spawn on this block, but if you're worried, you can place or keep, if you had them there, rails of some sort under it, and that'll prevent any spawning on that block specifically. I don't know if they'll spawn if there's already like a minecart on top of it, but just in case you're worried, you can place rails under it, because those will also prevent the spawning. Okay, so now that we have this section, all we really need to do is just build a giant platform. That's kind of it. I would recommend just kind of like extending this wall out a little bit so that they don't like jump over here by accident. You can also, of course, build a little walkway here so that they do jump it. It's not a problem for you. Mainly, the name of the game is we don't want Endermen ending up in places where they don't belong and clogging up the mob cap. All right, so I forgot to put trapdoors on the upper ring. So we want to put trapdoors around the edge. Same thing as the one below it. Make sure that there's one on every block. The corner doesn't matter which side it's on. Okay, so this is just so that they can path across it. Now for the spawning platform, really we just need little areas for the Enderman to spawn that are further than 24 blocks away from the part that we stand in, this like middle part here. That's because the hostile mobs won't spawn within 24 blocks of the player. So we just need to go out for further than 24 blocks. Now, I don't think the spawning platforms really have to be all that big, to be honest with you. So what I'm going to do is on each side of these, I'm going to go out by 40 blocks in all the directions. I'm not going to fill it in though. So like I'm going to go out 40 blocks in like this rectangle. So rectangle kind of like this, that kind of comes back here. I'm going to go out like this, and I'm going to go out like this. So it's going to be kind of like a fan looking thing. I'm not going to fill in the corners here. I'm going to leave these corners open because I don't think that they're necessary. These can be as long as you'd like. The Endermites will only aggro the Enderman to 64 blocks. So try not to go more than like 60 blocks. I think it's 64 blocks spherically, not like a block radius, like a square. So try not to go above 60 blocks. And I'd even recommend against going above 50 just because I don't think it's necessary at all. In particular, we don't want the Enderman to be spawning in the corners and then having them just stand there and doing nothing and clogging up the mob cap. But I really don't think you need to do it any more than 40 blocks in either direction. So I'm going to do this in all 4 directions, 40 blocks off of each side of these. And I'll show you what it looks like before you commit to placing which blocks. All right. So this is what I meant when I said to not fill in the corners. So I just kind of went out 40 blocks there, 40 blocks there, and 40 blocks there. I opted not to fill in specifically the platform next to this wall. And that's because they'll run up against this wall and they kind of like get stuck here. And we don't want that. So I just didn't do it at all. So yeah, if you want it to be faster, don't do those parts. In this case, I think it works pretty well. I haven't killed any of them, so none of them are spawning. But if I, for example, get rid of the floor here so that they all just kind of fall down, you can literally watch it spawn. And because we're out in the void, there's nowhere else for them to spawn, and it works like remarkably fast. So like if we just stand here, we can like watch them spawn on the platforms. And this is why I say that I don't really think it's necessary that you do any more than this, just because it goes so fast anyways. Yeah, like they'll probably spawn faster than you can kill them. So I think this is perfectly fine. You can of course add more blocks if you want. You can fill in some of the corners. Be aware that the aggro range on the corners isn't a square. Like it'll be kind of like a circle, so don't like go way out there if you add more blocks. But adding more blocks like here is probably fine. I don't think it's necessary though. I'm going to fill back in the blocks. This will be kind of annoying with the Enderman spawning so fast. Just so you know, if you go into sounds, you can turn down hostile creatures just in case the Endermen get really annoying. I'm going to do that. Okay. So with them here, we can see that they're just piling up. I have a sword already. I highly, highly, highly recommend getting an enchanted sword with sharpness 5 or some sharpness level and sweeping edge, because it'll help tremendously with being able to kill them quick enough. But then all we need to do... I was using fill to get rid of blocks I had placed on a previous take. I did actually place the ones here the hard way. Okay. So it's survival, and we can see that we can just kind of kill them. This farm is designed to be an XP farm. So it's designed to let you kill them with your sword rather than, automatically killing them for ender pearls. And this is just so that you can get XP. And we can see that they spawn remarkably fast. Like they're going to spawn almost faster than I can kill them with the sword. And I think there's a limit to how many can spawn at any given like tick anyways. But we can see that you basically just have a constant stream of them. It's a never-ending stream of Endermen. So in this case, this is all you really need. I didn't mean to do it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So for the like part that you get in, like this is all you need functionally. but you can probably get away, like you can make this a little bit nicer looking. So for example, we can get rid of this entire platform, and I would say definitely remember to keep your torches on this outside area, because you don't want Enderman spawning on this bridge and anywhere down that bridge as well. And ultimately, if you have an Elytra, you could totally just get away with getting rid of this entire bridge and like making a little platform here to fly in on. If you don't have an Elytra yet, you can just keep the land bridge you had to use to get the blocks over here. And then just make sure that maybe like put a door at the end over there or something. Probably not necessary though, because we're far enough away where they're not going to spawn. And just make sure that there's torches here so that nothing spawns. Otherwise, there's not anything that you need to do. You can of course make it look better than I did. I did basically the bare minimum. And you can use blocks other than endstone as well, I believe. I don't think there's any limitation on the blocks other than the spawning platforms need to be an opaque block. So it can't be like glass or slabs or something like that. All right, guys, that'll be it for this video. I hope that you don't run into any issues and that you're able to make a fully functioning farm that works for all of your purposes. If you have any issues, feel free to leave a comment down and I will try my best to help you debug or answer any questions you might have. I hope you have a wonderful day and I hope to see you next time.